Here's a claim that's going to make some of you uncomfortable. The most elegant woman in France, a woman who has outdressed people 40 years younger than her for decades, owns exactly 7 pieces of clothing. Not 7 outfits, 7 pieces. And I would bet money that most of you watching right now own more clothes than you can even name, yet somehow still stand in front of your closet most mornings feeling like you have nothing to wear. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact 7 pieces, the rules that hold them together, and the one habit underneath all of it that actually matters more than any single item on the list. Stay to the end because piece number 5 is the one almost every woman over 60 avoids, and it's the one making the biggest difference in how she's remembered in a room. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because I have a feeling this video is going to completely change how you look at your own closet. Welcome to Ageless Style Guide. Let's start with where this idea actually comes from because it isn't a trend some influencer invented last spring. Inès de la Fressange was Karl Lagerfeld's house model at Chanel in the 1980s. He didn't choose her by accident. He said she carried something of Coco Chanel herself in the way she moved, the long line of her, that unbothered posture that looked aristocratic without trying to be. In 1989, France chose her to be the face of Marianne, the symbol of the entire republic, sculpted into town halls across the country. Brigitte Bardot held that honor before her. Catherine Deneuve held it before that. So when this woman eventually sat down and wrote out her personal philosophy on getting dressed, French women didn't treat it as a suggestion. They treated it as doctrine. She called it the Magnificent Seven, and the rule underneath it is simple enough to say in one sentence. Buy less, but buy exactly right, and then stop shopping. I want you to sit with that for a second, because I think a lot of us have been sold the opposite idea our entire lives. The first piece is a blazer, but not the kind sold to women. She insists on a man's blazer, cut with a real shoulder, room in the sleeve, nothing nipped or fitted or apologizing for itself. Push the sleeves up or cinch it at the waist with a belt, and something happens that no amount of styling tricks can fake. A strong shoulder line reorganizes an entire silhouette. It doesn't hide you, it gives you architecture. And after 60, architecture is worth more than anything trendy you could put on top of it. The second piece is a navy sweater, not black. She is almost stubborn about this distinction, and it sounds like nothing until you actually test it. Stand 2 women side by side under the same light, one in black, one in navy. Black pulls the color out of a face. It flattens you, ages you, makes you look like you're disappearing into your own clothes. Navy does the opposite. It holds warmth against the skin. It reads as intentional instead of safe. Once you notice this, you cannot unsee it. Third is the trench coat, and this one has been quietly doing its job for over 100 years. It started as a military coat, woven tight enough to survive rain and the trenches of the First World War, and it has been flattering women in doorways and airports and rainy city streets ever since. The trick isn't the coat itself, it's what you do with it. Belt it at the waist, never button it close to the throat. Left open with the belt cinched, it does standing up what the blazer does sitting down. It gives you a shape the fabric alone could never provide. Then come what I think of as the honest pieces. The ones that look like nothing folded on a shelf and do everything once they're on a body. A simple tank top. Nothing printed, nothing logoed, just a clean base layer that disappears under everything else and holds it all together. And then, because I am contractually required to mention it, the little black dress. Except the French version of this rule has nothing to do with seduction. It has to do with never having to make the decision again. You try dresses until one fits the way your own skin fits, and then you stop. You wear that dress to dinners and funerals and to your daughter's engagement party, and 11 years later it still works because you chose it once correctly instead of chasing a new one every September. Quick question for you, and I actually want an honest answer in the comments. How many items are in your closet right now that you haven't worn in over a year? Drop the number below. No judgment. I'll go first when I read your answers. And if you're finding this video useful so far, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this reach more women who need to hear it. Now, back to the list. The sixth piece is jeans. Good ones. Dark wash, no fading, no distressing. Cut for the body you actually have, instead of the one a mannequin has. This is the piece most women get wrong, because they buy jeans the way they bought them at 25, and then wonder why nothing about the fit says anything good about them anymore. And the seventh piece, the one I promised you, the one almost every woman over 60 quietly excuses herself from, is a leather jacket. I want you to notice the face you're making right now, because I made that same face. Somewhere along the way, most of us decided the leather jacket belongs to somebody else, somebody younger, somebody with different plans for her Friday night. But here's the only fact that matters. Inez de la Fressange still wears hers. At 68, she is currently the creative ambassador for Roger Vivier, walking into rooms full of people 40 years younger than her, and she is, by any honest measure, the best dressed person there. The jacket was never the problem. The story you told yourself about who's allowed to wear it, that was the problem. Now, here's the part that actually matters more than the list itself. The 7 pieces are only half of the equation. The other half is restraint, and it shows up in exactly one role that changes how put together a woman looks more than anything else on this list. Never wear a necklace and earrings at the same time. Pick one. Wearing both, she says, is simply too much. And once you start looking for it, you will see the difference in every photograph of every well-dressed woman you have ever admired. It isn't more accessories that make someone look elegant. It's knowing exactly where to stop. That's the actual secret hiding inside this whole 7-piece idea, and it has nothing to do with wardrobes. A navy sweater is a navy sweater. It costs what it costs. It hangs the way it hangs. There's nothing mystical in the fabric. What makes it look expensive is that the woman wearing it made a decision about it once, with real attention, instead of grabbing it in a rush on a Tuesday morning because it was clean. Think about what that actually frees you from. Every morning, most of us stand in front of a closet stuffed with 40, 50, 60 items, and we negotiate. We hold up one thing, put it back, try another, second-guess the shoes, change our mind about the jacket, and by the time we've left the house, we've already made 30 small decisions before 8 in the morning. That's not style. That's fatigue wearing a nice outfit. A woman with 7 pieces doesn't negotiate. She already decided. Every single choice was made in advance, calmly, without the pressure of a clock ticking or a mirror judging her. And what's left every morning after that isn't a chore. It's just putting on clothes she already knows are right. I think about a woman I met in a hotel lobby in Lyon more than I probably should. She was somewhere in her late 60s, traveling alone, and her suitcase was small enough to be a carry-on, which struck me because mine wasn't. She wore a navy sweater, dark jeans, and a scarf tied in a way that looked effortless and was clearly the opposite of effortless. We ended up sharing a table at breakfast for 4 mornings in a row, and by the 3rd morning, I realized she had been wearing some combination of the same 6 or 7 items the entire trip, and somehow, every single day, she looked better than I had managed to look on any one day of mine. I asked her about it eventually, a little embarrassed by the question. She just shrugged and said something I've never forgotten. She said, I got tired of getting dressed twice, once in my head deciding what I even owned, and once in the mirror deciding if it worked, so I stopped owning things that needed deciding. That sentence rearranged something in me, Because it wasn't really about clothes. It was about the exhausting, invisible tax we pay every single day, negotiating with a closet full of things we bought under pressure, wore twice, and kept out of guilt. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. You don't need 70 pieces to look like a woman who has her life together. You need 7, chosen with the kind of attention most people never spend on anything they own. A blazer with a real shoulder, a navy sweater instead of black, a trench belted and open, a tank that disappears under everything, a dress you only had to find once, jeans cut for the woman you actually are, and a leather jacket you stop apologizing for. 7 pieces worn by a woman who has stopped auditioning for anyone will always outdress 70 pieces worn by a woman who's still hedging her bets. If this changed the way you're looking at your own closet, tell me in the comments which of these 7 pieces you're missing right now. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe here at Ageless Style Guide and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next one. Now go stand in front of your closet and start deciding, once, calmly, the way she did.